Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skysworld.com for life coaching and mentoring. Let's talk about control, being a control freak. Right? I've talked about this before, and I always talk about it in the terms of acceptance. Acceptance will set you free. I don't think there's anything wrong, inherently wrong, with being a control freak or with wanting to control your environment. I don't think there's anything wrong with you being very firm in what you think, what you do, what you say, how you act, how you respond. I don't think there's anything wrong with being in control of many different aspects of your life. There's a lot of aspects of our life that are out of control. What's wrong with controlling the ones that you can? If you have a boat, a sailboat, and you're out in the ocean, if you don't control the sails and the rudder, that thing will just go off on its own. Most likely it's going to just tip over. One of the ways that a boat stays afloat is to have a captain of it controlling it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being in control of your life. And people look down their nose at the notion of being a control freak. I don't really see a lot wrong with wanting to be in total control. I think that's an aspect of masculinity. I think the more masculine men that you find or that you get around, the more of a proclivity or of a desire to control themselves. Now, being a control freak has its downside. Wanting to control everything in your environment is impossible. Even people who have dogs, and you could have your dog really well trained. It's a free-thinking creature. It's going to do what it wants. Your kids, you could have your kids really well trained. People brag about, oh, my kids are so good. I don't ever have to beat my kids. I don't ever have to punish them. They're such good kids. You can't control everything your kid does. So you have to recognize when things are out of your control. It may be relationships with other people. That's typically a big one. You can't control others. You can't control someone else's response. A lot of people get really freaked out these days. There's countless videos of response videos. And then you motherfuckers get freaked out by somebody else's response. And why? Why would you care what somebody else's response was? Why would you have an adverse reaction to somebody else's response? It's because it's not like yours. It's because maybe you want to control their response. You want their response to be what yours is. So we have to recognize what we can control and what we can't control in life. And when we run up against something that's truly uncontrollable, we have to give in to it. But you have to recognize what's uncontrollable. You're sitting in traffic and there's no way out. And you're sitting there pounding on your steering wheel because you're late and you have a schedule, and this ruins everything. Now you might get fired. Now that big deal's not going to go through. This fucks everything up. And I've been there. I was just there the other day in traffic in Orlando. I hate going to Orlando. I had to collect some money from some vendors from a Harley Davidson dealership. So we go out there. We get stuck in traffic. We thought we were being slick. So we jump off the freeway, go through back streets of Orlando. We're over by the fucking jail. And next thing you know, bam, we hit some traffic that was even worse than on the highway. We regretted big time getting off that highway. The highway might have been moving again. We were stuck for 3 hours, 2-3 hours. Ugh, it was a nightmare, and there was no way to get around. There was no way to, what am I going to do? Pop up on people's yards, jump up and run over pedestrians? We're stuck. I look at my brother and I was just like, well, I guess kiss the rest of our shit goodbye. We're not doing anything else today than this, I guess. And I got so annoyed, but there's no way out. There's nothing I can do. So you have to give in. You have to just take a deep breath. Laugh it off. Say, God damn, man. Realize that maybe this is in the cards. God's trying to slow you down. Maybe something in that next meeting that you had, you're rushing to get across town. Maybe this was meant to be. You just have to accept the fate. Now, I like to find my outs. I like to find my routes. I like to find ways to navigate. My motto, everybody should have a motto, a personal motto. Just like a company has a motto, right? Nike has just do it. Do you have a motto? If you don't have a motto, you don't really have a goal-driven life, because your motto helps keep you on your goals. My motto is, where there's a will, there's a way. You can see it on every one of our business cards from Sinister City. We put it on every one of our stickers. We put it everywhere. It's always been our motto. And I truly believe it in life. But when there's no way that you can navigate, you look for all the ins and outs. You look for all the ways that you can keep going forward. Well, what about that? What about this? And when there's nothing else, when there's no other options, you have to just take that deep breath and just be like, I guess this is it. This is what we're doing right now. I guess I just have to go with the flow. And going with the flow can be frustrating as fuck. Especially for people like me who have PTSD. I don't know if you people out there realize, but being a quote-unquote control freak is somewhat of a necessary survival tactic for people with severe PTSD. One of the reasons is because when you have PTSD and you get triggered, when you're triggered, you may feel like you're in the war again. And that's a very out of control feeling. It's a very out of control mindset. It can be incredibly dangerous. So I encourage people to create discipline, to create control, to make lists, to control your life, to gain some control over your life. But with this coin is always a double side, and you have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run, is the famous Gambler song, Kenny Rogers. You have to know when to just throw up your hands and say, okay, whatever. I can't do anything. Okay, Lord, I guess you're in charge. I can't do shit about this. It's people that can't do that. There's people that can't do that, and they torture themselves. So learn to give in when there's no other options. Learn to recognize truly when there's no other options. I've seen lots and lots of people crying about what's 1 + 1. The answer is 2. There may be an option right in front of your fucking nose, and you don't realize it, or you don't want to see it. And you've given up. You give up so easily. And everything you've given up on because you didn't really explore your options well enough. You go with the flow, motherfuckers often go nowhere. It's us control freaks that are starting companies, becoming bosses, changing the world. But it's also us control freaks who kill ourselves. It's the truth. Learn how to give in. Learn how to go with the flow. Wu Wei. Look it up. Thanks for watching.